a self-fulfilled prophecy. Oh no, oh no, oh.
Have you ever felt displaced in classes?
Most definitely, yes, there is a female dominant gender in my classes. I'm also a nurse, so there's also a female dominant gender in the workplace as well. Have I ever felt discriminated about my major? Other than maybe just some like friendly banter between men, calling it a nurse, a male nurse, or giving reference to Meet the Fockers, mostly just playful. It hasn't been anything really discriminatory in a negative sense, mostly just playful. So, no.
What if it wasn't someone besides your friends? Like if it was someone else that you didn't know and they did that to you, what would you do? How would you feel?
Oh, I wouldn't like it. If someone that I didn't know was kind of making fun, discriminating against me as a male nurse, I wouldn't like it. It would probably make me feel upset. I wouldn't feel that it was diminished at all. My role as a nurse would be diminished because I know what I'm getting into. I would question them because maybe they're misinformed. And then once we had a conversation, then if they were still ignorant to what nurses do and our role as males, then I would just chalk it up as them as ignorant people and not really take offense to say that guy or girl is just a jerk. But if maybe they'd so have a conversation with them, I would question them, and I wouldn't like that.
Do you feel that with your age, your classmates in your classes already have an expectation for you on the first day of class?
Not really. Not on the first day.
Does being discriminated affect your academic performance?
No, certainly not. Discrimination doesn't affect my performance in school.
How do you handle being discriminated?
I basically concentrate on the task at hand and exactly what I'm here for.
Do you feel like you are being equally treated by your professor among your fellow classmates?
Not really. Just because of my age, I think the professors expect a little bit more out of me.
What type of actions do you recommend to the school to prevent discrimination?
I think they should have somebody who would be auditing the school or the class, and the way they can see how these professors sometimes treat people like myself.
Who are the people that have discriminated you?
I don't have problems with my classmates. It's usually the professors that I have problems with.
How do you think they come up with these kinds of discriminations? Who do you think influenced them?
It's hard to say, but I think it's had to do with the fact that I'm older, or people that the students that are older, they should be more knowledgeable, and they should be, I guess, more experienced, and that's probably the reason why they expect more out of the students like myself.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for almost 3 years. I'm a junior.
Do you think that local Americans and international students mix together?
It's hard to tell because I think it depends on where the person is coming from. Because I've noticed that on HBU campus, a lot of international students, they tend to group together and form their own groups depending on where they're from. But for me personally, I feel very comfortable around Americans, and most of my friends are from Hawaii and from the mainland. So I think that international students and local Americans work together well.
Have you been treated differently while you were here?
No, I can't think of any moment when I've been treated differently.
Do you feel like you belong here?
I do. I feel very comfortable in Hawaii because it's so diverse and it seems like a lot of people feel like Hawaii is their home even if they've been here for only a few years.
Who are the people that have discriminated you?
I've never been discriminated against, but some people tend to stereotype me. Since I'm coming from Russia and some Russian people are known because to be drinking a lot or to, well, maybe Russian history plays a big role in it too, since Russia used to be communist, so some people ask me those, stereotypical questions. But I can't say that I've ever been discriminated against.
How do you think they came up with these kinds of discriminations or stereotypes?
I think it's coming from Russian history and the conflict between U.S. and Russia in the past. So I think that's the main reason why people have those stereotypes.
Okay, thank you. While playing sports, have you felt discriminated when you were younger?
Not really. Like, I don't really remember anything like that. I always had a good experience playing sports.
What sport do you play now?
Basketball.
Do you think that the opposite gender gets more money than your gender?
No, actually, I think my gender gets more money than the opposite.
Do you think this is fair?
I mean, I think it's not really fair, but it's just men's sports are more popular than women's sports, so that's why they're getting paid more.
How is... Well, I think that's good. Thank you. Because you...
Have you ever felt discriminated about your race?
Yes, I have, specifically my Middle Eastern side and the color of my skin.
What is the most insulting stereotype that you've heard or been told about?
I guess the most insulting stereotype would be that I'm a terrorist because of my Middle Eastern side. So people assume that because I'm like half Iranian that I must be a terrorist, or that one of my family members is a terrorist, or something along those lines.
Okay. And how have you dealt with common stereotypes about your race?
But usually I just laugh it off, because sometimes people will say it like jokingly, like, oh, you're Middle Eastern, you're a terrorist, and it's just like, haha. But really, it's not really that much of a joking thing.
So can you tell me exactly who are the people that have discriminated against you?
Well, usually it's people in school. I remember there was a lot of people that would, because I guess they didn't know any better, they would just go like, oh, you're a terrorist, haha, and things like that. I've never really had anyone besides school people, sometimes coworkers. It's usually people I meet when they find out, like, it's like, oh, hi, what's your name, where are you from, what are you, and then I tell them, and then that's usually what they jump to.
And how do you think they come up with these kind of stereotypes? Like, who do you think influenced them?
I think the main reason for it is because of September 11th. Because before that, I didn't really have an issue with it. No one really, they knew Iran existed, but they didn't really know like anything about it besides Persian cats, Persian rugs. And after September 11th, because it happened to be committed by people from that area, people just now assume that, oh, they connected, like, oh, they're all terrorists. Because if it had been done by anyone else, like a Spanish person or an Irish person, people would be connecting those types of people with that. It's just unfortunate that it had to be that type of people.
And I have one more question for you. In other perspectives, in what way do you think others think about you based on your race?
Well, there are two things. One of them is because I'm half Middle Eastern, they assume that I must be Muslim because that's the predominant form of religion, I guess, over there. So they assume that I must be Muslim or my family members are Muslim. And people in the United States don't really have a closed view of Muslim. They think that it's bad, that it's a bad religion, and that it's part of the reason why September 11th happened. And so I tell them I'm not, but they think, oh, well, like, why not, or whatever. But there's also the fact that compared to other Middle Eastern people, my skin is a lot whiter. So people here, when I moved from Maryland, like in Maryland, it wasn't a huge issue because there's a lot of white people there. But here in Hawaii, like in high school, I got called a haole a lot, like in a kind of derogatory type of way. Like, oh, you damn haole, like go back to your homeland or whatever. But really, I'm not even white. But because of my skin color, because I look like I'm white, I don't look Middle Eastern at all. People just assume that and they discriminate me that as well.